The monologue is a process of a person speaking their thoughts out loud, and the words tumble through before an editing process, before I can get a hold of them and polish them up and move them around and qualify them and make them clever for an audience. So the monologue is scary, really, because I hang in the tree of my life, and the pneuma, the word for spirit in Greek, blows through my being, and there isn't a lot of time for the memory to be able to act in that way of a card index, picking things out, stitching them together, transmitting them all very quickly in a very tiring and laborious way. In this process of the monologue, memory is used, but the words themselves pick the memories in order to hang themselves in a vehicle. So I don't know what's going to come out. There are themes, I suppose. I hang here and I have requests that I make of the words behind the velvet curtain, in the invisibility, that I would like to try to get across. You know, put your money where your mouth is, there is a saying. Well, I'm putting my mouth where your money is. How that's going to work, I don't know. But the words queue up and jostle. They're not arguing much at the moment, but they want to be out to convey, to bring something direct without intermediary, from the one to the one. A monologue that becomes a dialogue as soon as it's heard across the airwaves, across the medium, which is this modern, extraordinary technology where we can communicate, where we can meet, where we can come together and talk. So what is this monologue, or maybe even a series of monologues, going to accomplish? I don't know. It stems from me daring to turn up at a monologue competition, only to find out that I hadn't applied properly and couldn't compete. And I listened to the other people who had 3 minutes to deliver a monologue, and they were actors, aspiring actors, and they had, as far as I could tell, for the most part, memorized pieces and were delivering them with as much authenticity and presence as possible. But that to me didn't seem to fit in to the definition of the monologue which I opened this piece with, which is the process of a person speaking their thoughts out loud. Silence is part of the process. I'm pleased to be able to say. It's almost like a seance, I suppose, on the table of my intelligence. I'm knocking and asking if there's anybody there. Is there anybody there? Is there anybody there on the other side of this? I don't care, really. Intelligence is a strange word. It denotes something which governments and countries have and want at their service. Intelligence services, they are there to pick up information, they are there to feed information back to a ruling junta, a ruling collaboration, so that the rulers can find out generally what their enemies are doing. Individuals that are possessed of an intelligence I want to say especially, but you see, I blocked that especially coming out because I don't want to feel special. But there appears to be, whatever intelligence is, a measuring scale of low to high, extremely low, extremely high. I'm extremely high, therefore it makes me an extremist. I sometimes feel like an extremist. I listen to the news about other extremists. I don't see much intelligence in their activities. So when I describe myself as extremely intelligent and therefore as an extremist, it may be that my extremism needs to be brought into focus so that I can at least be antidotal to other forms of extremism which may be on the other end of the spectrum. Maybe they're just being extremely stupid or extremely duplicitous or extremely clever, extremely political. There are certainly extreme news stories, extreme behaviours. They don't strike me as being extremely intelligent. And how dare I say that? It's because I am extremely intelligent. So how can the extremely intelligent bring their form of extremism into this world to combat other forms of extremism? There's a question. There is a possibility. Extremely powerful, not necessarily intelligent, but extremely powerful forces, as they try to gain intelligence about situations, in the past have dispensed very quickly with the threats to them. Often the threats were extremely intelligent threats that would show them up to be what they are if they are extremely powerful but not very intelligent. So I suppose this is, like any extremist behaviour, really rather dangerous work. And I can't say much more about that because I haven't really said that much yet that might be threatening the extremely powerful or the extremely rich or the extremely stupid or the extremely violent or the extremely whatever they might be as they capture the one-eyed news machine. I don't look to capture anything or anybody. I don't even want to capture your attention in that sense. There may be light in this which sheds something into places that are dark. I don't want to be extremely bright. Intelligence can, on a rheostat, alter its intensity, even though it is coming from an extreme place. Too much brightness, and for those who've been living in the dark a long time, it's a very scary thing. So the words, I can feel them checking themselves as they're coming through, or something is checking, rather than me jumping up and down. I'm very conscious of not wanting to be like the boy in the nursery rhyme who stuck in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." There's always that hesitation in a world that's becoming increasingly narcissistic, psychopathic, sociopathic, of look at me, look at me. I'm extremely intelligent, therefore I should be extremely revered or extremely rich or extremely, the general suckering in of the extremities or the extreme forms in this culture which attract people, which I don't know how to go much further into that apart from awareness. I'm going to have to try to do my best to allow these words to come out, to allow my form of extremism to land in this time of battling extremities. Intelligence is able to choose. Even extreme intelligence is able to choose. Although within its sensitivities it gets blown away by the vehicle that we're given. I'll go into that later on, I hope. I don't want these monologues to be too long. Little bits. We're all easily bored in this extreme time. We all suffer from Homer Simpsonitis to some extent, yet we all crave depth and weight, crave something that really means something, that's going to answer questions of great depth and weight, like what happens to me when I die, where have I come from, if anywhere, does anybody love me, do I actually love anybody else? So I'm going to let them take care of themselves and see what happens. But I don't want too much slowing and stopping and deep pondering and too much gravitas. I've tried a few times to record things on video, and often I look at them back and I think, well, there's some bits in there which are retainable, but there's an awful lot of humming and ahhing and eye closing and me imagining how I should be or what I should be like, and I can't do that much anymore. So it says I've been recording now for 13 and a half minutes, probably a bit too long, but I'm going to try and play this back as an opening thing and see what the next one brings. What are we going to call them? The Dettman Monologues.